Okay, perfect. So we'll get started. So yesterday we spoke about how to use print, right? And we looked at various ways of printing. Um, and we used format string. So mainly format string was a focus yesterday. We could format text, we could format numbers, right? Okay. So Bala has joined. Great. Okay. So today we will talk about different data types we have. So when you have to deal with data, it's important to know what data, what data you're dealing with, right? Because based on data itself, you will perform certain activity, right? So if it is number, you perform certain activities. So it is important to know what kind of data you are dealing with, right? So we call it a data type, and in Python we have mainly 5 types of data. Okay, so you call them as data types. Okay, so you have 5 main types. Okay, the first one is your, let's say, var1 equal to, you say 5, right? So when you say 5, we're talking about number 5. Okay, and how do you uh, guys, can you go on mute? Kuldeep, can you go on mute, please? Okay, he dropped. Okay. So we use print to print anything, right? So I'm using print, and I'm going to, we are going to learn next function, which is called type. So we already know how to work with print, right? So second type, okay, or second type of function is called as input. So this is the second function we are learning after print, input. Okay. Now input. Okay, so let's do input later. Okay, maybe towards the end of the session. We'll do type here first. We're talking about type. What type of data are we handling? Okay, so type will tell us the data type. Okay, and those who have done the analytics course session yesterday, we talk about data types in mathematics. Something similar here. Okay, so if you say var1, okay, and when you run it, I'm going to change it to p1, and when you run it, you see it says int. Okay, so this is the first data type that we are going to learn, int. Okay, which stands for integer. Okay, and see, everything in Python is treated as class. Okay, so we'll hold on our discussion for class right now. We'll talk about it later. Okay, but just to know that everything, even basic data type, even if you talk about Java, basic data types like integer and float, they're not considered as class and objects. But in Python, everything is considered as class and objects. We'll talk about class and objects maybe after a few classes. Okay, so let's focus on integer part, int part here. So what is integer? Integer is our decimal number system. Okay, so it's like your uh, um, like minus infinity to plus infinity, right? But with no decimal part, with no decimal part. Okay, so you can say minus 999, or you can say 0, you can say 5. Okay, these are all integers. Minus to plus, any number without decimal. Okay, they are called as integer. In mathematics also we call them as integer only. Okay, the next type of data, okay, is your float. So float are again numbers. Okay, they're again numbers which has decimal part. Okay, numbers with decimal part. So even 5.0, okay, though we don't have any value after decimal, but still this is also called as your float. Okay, moment it has point or decimal, it is a float type. Okay, so second type of data that we have spoken about is called float. Then there is one more data type, which is for number. Okay, so it's called complex. Do you remember what complex numbers are in mathematics?
We talked about this 2i, right?
Yes.
Right.
IJK. It is
Right. Okay.
We have talked about this.
We already spoke about it, right? Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, let me recollect. Just hold on then.
Yes.
Okay. So yes, so this is 5i, okay, or 5j rather. In programming, in Python, we call it as j, which is complex, which is your square root of -1, right? And then we talked about Boolean, right? Boolean can be your true or false, okay? True, it has to be T capital RUE, okay? Or false, which is F capital ALSE, right? And then you have, what is the fifth one? This is bool. What is fifth one, guys? Hello, text, string, right? So, okay, so it's a text string. So we write text in quotation, right? We write text in quotation. So these are the 5 different data types that we spoke about, right? Int, float, complex, bool, and string. So bool will have only true or false. String, any text within quotation. Okay, and then you have integer, boolean, and integer, float, and complex. Okay, the next, okay, let's talk about input. What does input do? Input is also a function. Okay, now so far what we've been doing is we are assigning the value directly, right? Like when I say I want to give true or 5j or even 5, we directly said var1 equal to 5. So we are kind of, it's called as hard coding. We are hard coding the value, right? Value will remain 5. We are not actually making it user friendly. Let's say if I want to add some value, if I want to give var1 as 50, you have to go to code and change it, but that's not the right way of approaching, right? You want a user to give the value to you. So the input is used to read a value from the user. Is used to read a value from the user. So let's say if I say number 1, num1 equal to, I say input. Okay. Now when you run this, so see our program is waiting. It has not finished. Generally, when you run the program, you get exit code 0. 0 means your program has run successful. If you get anything other than 0, that means there is some problem with your program. The program did not execute as per expectation. Okay, there could be some problem, some errors, or there could be or something else, but your program did not run as per expectation. Okay, so see, exit code is not like we did not get exit code here. Okay, so what we need to do here is we need to give value. Okay, the program is not finished executing because of this input function. Okay, because of input, our program has not finished executing. Input means you are waiting for user to enter the value. So it is expecting us to give a value. So let's say I give 5. Okay, now we can print it. Okay, we can say print just to check whether this has been read correctly or not. I can say, okay, format string. Okay, and format string, if you remember again, so you print like normally, and if you give F, that means you are saying that I'm going to use variables also inside quotation, right? That's what format means, right? If I put F before quotation, it means I'm going to use variables also inside quotation. So I'm going to say is the number, right? And what's the data type? How do we find the data type? We find type of num1, isn't it? This will give us data type, just like we did here. So let me put a text here, something like this. This time I'm not using f string, I'm using a normal print. I'm saying data type of num1 is. Okay. Now let's run this and see what happens. Okay, it's waiting for me to enter the value. I say 50. So see, it says 50 is the number, correct? So 50, it has read correctly. But what happened? What is the data type of num1? What do you see here?
Integer.
Now,
Sir, string.
string, str is for string, right? So what has happened? It has read your data, but not the correct format, right? Now, see what happens is, um, um, you know, because we are dependent on user to enter the value, correct? We are dependent on user to enter the value, correct? How will Python know what value you are entering? We are saying enter the number, so we want number. But how will Python know that you are entering a number? Now, if you tell me 50 is a number, right? But I can put 50 in quotation also, right? I can say var2 equal to 50 in quotation. Now, in this case, what is the data type of 50? What is the data type of 50 in this case?
String.
Yes,
String.
because we gave in quotation, right? So you can enter 50 in quotation. Let's say I don't want, like phone number example, right? Phone number, you won't be doing plus minus into division, right? So phone number, you can read it as a number also, and you can read it as a text also, right? So Python will not know that you are trying to read this value as integer. Okay. So now you just see any data type, whether it's integer or float or string or complex or boolean, can be converted into string. Exactly. You just put quotation around it. Yes or no? So every data type can be converted into string. String is anyway string. Non-string, you just put quotation around it, it becomes a string, right? But you cannot say same thing for other data type. I cannot convert hello into integer, can I? No. True, can you convert it into integer? True will become 1. 0 becomes false. So true you can convert into any format. True is the lowest, true I'm saying. The boolean is the lowest of all the data structure. Okay. Okay, so you can convert true into integer, boolean, string, everything. But string is like among these five, string is the highest data structure. We'll talk about more data structures later, but let's focus on these 5 for next few days. So string is highest, okay? You cannot convert string to any of the other format, but everything can be converted into string. So what Python says is, since everything can be converted into string, let me read the input value as string by default. Let me read the input value as string by default. Okay, so that's how you're going to get this input value, you're going to read as string. And that's why when I'm reading 50 here, it is read as string. Okay, it is read as string. Important when you want to practice programming and all. Okay, this is important, right? Yes, clear? So by default, your input value will always take as string. Okay. Okay. Now, but we want number, isn't it? I don't want string. I want number. So you can convert num1 into integer by using int num1. So see, in line number 18, num1 is input value, whatever we have given as input. Now, same value we are converting into integer in line number 19. So, Python will give you string, so you have to take it as string. There's no other way to get it at integer. So you take as integer, but you know that, okay, this one has to be a number. So you convert it into number. So we say int of num1. So now if you run it, okay, and now I enter 50. So number 50 is the number, right? And see the data type is integer now. You see that? It is integer because before we find the type, we have converted into integer. We have converted into integer. Yes, no?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So we are converting into integer and then we are using it. Okay, great. Now, so now what it says is this, you can combine these two statements. So this is giving us data. I'm saying, okay, read it and then convert into int. I'm now converting into int. Okay, so you can use two functions together. You can use multiple functions together, right? You can use input, int, print, multiple values you can use together. So when you're using multiple functions together, the innermost function, okay, the innermost function, okay, is going to be the first function to be executed. The innermost function is going to be the first function to get executed. Then the next outer, then the next outer. Finally, the last function to be executed is the outermost function. So in this case, we have two functions, input and int. Okay, input and int. So first input will get executed because that is the innermost function. So input will ask you to enter the value. So now you see input is actually working. Input is working. And now I say, okay, I say 50. The moment I hit enter, it is still input. The moment I hit enter, input is done and then integer will convert into integer and then you see, you get integer here. Okay, so today we have learned second function type, right? I don't know, maybe we would have done yesterday or day before, but yeah, first we did print, second type, third input, fourth integer. In fact, all of these, there's a function here. You see, class int, we have just seen int as a function. Float, so there's a function by name float. The function name is same as the class name. Okay, you have float. Float will convert into float. Now let's say you want to read marks. Okay, marks is going to be your float, right? It can be in decimal point also. So now if I say 50, okay, you see, it became 50.0 because we converted it into float. So input, you can convert into int, float, complex, bool, or str. Okay, and later when we do data structure like list, tuple, you can see that you can convert into list, tuple, dictionary, numpy, pandas, anything. Is it clear so far, everyone?
So,
Yes.
Swapnil, you mentioned these are also functions.
Correct.
Float, complex, boolean, but these are all data types, right? I'm just confused here.
Correct. So see, these are data types and we have a function with the same name. So float is data type and float bracket becomes a function.
Okay.
Right? Int bracket becomes a function. I told you function will always be followed with simple bracket.
Yeah, but where can we use it? And
Yeah, this is the example, right? The string value I'm converting, sorry, here, string value I'm converting into float.
Okay.
Because when
Got
you get
it.
string, it's a text. And you
Got
can't
it.
multiply two text, right? And that's the topic for today. We'll see. You can't multiply two text. You can only multiply two numbers. So then we'll convert into number and then we will multiply.
Got it.
Yeah. Okay, so you have function with str. Okay, now this is class str is your data type. Str bracket is your function. Okay, so they have same function and class name with same name, so that we don't have to remember two things. If you remember one, you can remember both, right? That's the purpose. Okay, so we learn how to. Okay, now you see when we are running it, okay, we don't know what to enter, right? See, we have written the program, so we know that I need to enter a number. But if you run and somebody else is using, let's you try to book a ticket and then you have all blanks on the screen. Not useful, right? So input allows us to write one comment, one text basically. So only text can be written in input, and you can write something like this: enter a number. Yeah? So whatever you write in a text, see, print, you can write multiple parameters we saw, right? We can say print something like this, where print this one, comma, this one, right? We can do that. But here we cannot do it. Okay, comma is not allowed. You either give no parameter or you get at max one parameter. More than one parameter is not permitted. Okay, so for now, one text is enough. Later we'll see when we have to add 2 or 3 parameters, how we can do it. We'll do later. But now, for our job, one parameter is enough. Okay, let me enter this one and run it again. So when you run it again, you see enter a number. So that's how we know that, okay, I need to enter a number here. The user will know. So they'll tell you, okay, enter the date of travel. So okay, I need to enter the date of travel there, right? Enter your destination. So that, okay, here I have to enter my destination. So this is how you read the value using Python. Input is a function which will help us to read the value from the user. Input will help us to read value from user. Float of input will convert it into float. Okay, and here we are simply printing, right? So this is how input is used. In the practice, I will not use input because input takes time, because you put input and every time you have to enter a value, right? So I tend not to use in classes using input, but for you to practice, I want you to start using input. Okay, because first you have to learn, right? So you try 3-4 days with input. I'm going to give you some assignment today. Okay, I'm going to do some operations, then give you some assignment, simple assignment. You solve them and you take the input, you take the value as input only. Okay, and when you're comfortable using input, it's not difficult, right? Just one line. Okay, couple of examples, then you can also stop using input, because input will take a lot of time, because when I say enter, the program will stop for us to take a value, and then we have to hit enter, then it goes again. Okay, so this is how, as I said, you can use input. So we have seen different data types. We have seen how to read a value from the user and how to convert into data type of our choice. So we have something called as implicit conversion and explicit conversion. You will hear these words: implicit and explicit. Explicit conversion. Okay. Now, when I said var1 equal to hello, var1 became string, correct? When we said num1 equal to input, it became string. When I say var1 equal to true, it became boolean. How? That's called implicit conversion. Automatically, we did not tell it. We did not force it to become boolean or string or integer. It became automatically. So these are called implicit conversion. The data type, okay, of var1 is a particular data type because of the data that it's storing. Now here, when you say float of or int of, we are forcing it to become something else. Okay, this is called explicit conversion. Okay, so this is called explicit conversion. So when you have to use float of, int of, str of, bool of, complex of, we are doing explicit conversion. We are doing explicit conversion. Okay, and when it becomes automatically, okay, when you assign, when you say a equal to var1 equal to 5, it became integer. var1 equal to 5.0, it became float. Automatically, it is getting converted into integer or float, right? So it is implicit conversion. Okay, so yeah, I mean, not useful from the programming perspective, but good to know terms. Okay, now we'll talk about what operations we can perform, operations that can be performed on integer value or numeric value. Okay. Now numeric means int, float, complex. You can do same operation on all these three. Okay. So there are a few things you already know. Plus, so let's say if I take num1 equal to 23 and num2 equal to 32. This is what I meant, that instead of taking input, I'm directly giving value. Now, if I have to print num1 plus num2. So this is an operation. This is an operation that you can perform on numbers, right? What is this operation called as? Correct? You can have plus, addition, subtraction, multiplication, division. So this is how you write addition. This is how we do minus, the hyphen, okay? That is your minus sign. Then your star is used for multiplication, not X, okay? Star. Star is used for multiplication. And this forward slash, bending forward, okay? Bending forward is your forward slash. So this is your division, right? And when you do it, okay, yeah, I have to enter the value there, right? I'll say 1 here. So see, 32 plus 33, 23 plus 32 is 55. Okay, 23 minus 32 is minus 9. 23 into 32 is 736. And 23 divided by 32 is 0.71875. Right? So addition, subtraction, multiplication, division. You all know this, right? No confusion here, right? Let's do few more stuff. Okay. So here we will do what is called as integer division. Integer division. So forward slash is division. Double forward slash is integer division. Integer division means it will give you only the integer part. You will the integer part. So what is the integer part here? 0. So double slash will give you 0. It is not doing rounding off, okay? It's not going to do rounding off. Rounding off would make it 1, right? Because 0.7. It's not going to round it off. It will only give you the integer part. Even if it is 0.9999999, also you get 0 only, okay? You don't get 1. So, okay. So you get 0 here, right? So this is called integer division. Integer division will give us 0. Then you have something called as double star. Okay, it's called as power. So if you say num1 star star, it's like num1 to the power of num2. Num1 to the power of num2. So it becomes 23 to the power 32. It will be a very big number, isn't it? Let's see if Python can do it. So see, Python can solve it. And that's the beauty of Python. You know, it can perform very high calculation, very high accuracy. Okay. I mean, it's too big a number, right? Even to understand or do it. So that's why when we talk about data science or even scientific kind of calculations, Python is popular. Okay. So here double star will do the power 23 to the power 32. 23 into 23 into 23 into 23, so 32 times. That's what power means, isn't it? Okay, and there's one more. We don't need the last one. Okay, it's called mod. We write percentage. Okay, it's percentage, but we call it as modulus. Mod or modulus. Okay, and this will not give you percentage. Okay, so it's not about percentage. It gives you a remainder. Remainder, what do we call it? Remainder, right? So again, go back to your maybe class 3, class 4, when you used to do division first time. So when you to divide, right, we came to know decimal point later, right? Before it was normal division where you divide and you look at the quotient and the remainder. So in a way, this interdivision is your quotient and this is remainder. So if I divide 10 by 6, what is remainder? If I do 10 by 6, what do you get?
4.
Right, 4. So I'm going to show you how it happens. Okay, something that you would have done long time back. So you have 10, right? And then we divide by 6. So we say 6 1 just 6. You get 4. Since this number is less than 6, we stop here, right? So this is your remainder 4. In higher classes, we learn decimal and we said, okay, add dot and 0 and then 66, 1.66, whatever. Okay, but in lower classes, this is remainder. Okay, so this is remainder. Can you tell me one significance of finding out remainder? What is one significance? What one one application of finding remainder based on your experience? So remainder will tell you whether that number is perfectly divisible or not. So if you want to check if 12 is divided by 6 or not, what will I do? I will divide 12 by 6 and see the remainder. If remainder is 0, that means it is perfectly divisible. And remainder is not 0, that means it is not divisible. Okay, that's one application. So what do we get here? 23 divided by 32. What do you get here? What is the remainder? I'm asking you primary class mathematics, guys. No idea? Come on, 5 of you, nobody wants to answer.
Somewhere 0.
Zero.
I don't know.
Remainder. What is this? You should be sent to class 3 now.
You have to use a decimal numbers.
No, we don't need decimal. So you have 23 here and you have 32 here. Correct? Num1 by num2. Denominator is num2, 32. Numerator is 23.
Right.
So you cannot say 31 here, right? So you'll say 30 0 times. 0 times 0. So 23 is your remainder, isn't it?
We are applying a little extra calculation, like adding decimal 1 and 2 is that.
Decimal, yeah, exactly. In here we don't do decimal, right? So that's what I was in class 3, not class 6. Class 6 probably you do decimal. Class 3 you don't do decimal. So you get 23. The moment you get value less than the denominator, we stop there, right? So that's your. So these are your. We call these as mathematical or arithmetic operators. Arithmetic. Okay, there are arithmetic operations, mathematical operations, arithmetic operations. So these are the operations you can perform only on numbers. You can't perform on Boolean or string, right? Okay. All good so far, guys? Clear? This is the first operation we are doing, which is arithmetic operation. Okay. And next, we'll talk about next one is, let's say we do comparison operator. Now this is also done on, you can do it on string. So see, after a couple of classes, we'll take one class especially on string, okay, because string is different, right? So we'll talk about string. So for now, let's ignore string. In string also you can do comparison operator, but let's not do now. Let's focus on only numbers for today. So here you get input as numbers and output will be Boolean. It's today we will only talk about Boolean and numbers. Okay. So what I'm saying, input is number and output is Boolean. Here, okay, your input and output both are numbers, right? Input and output both are numbers. Okay. Here, okay, input is number. So we are as the name says, we are comparing. We are comparing. Is it greater? Is it smaller? Is it equal? Right? So let me take same number. Yeah. And so what are different operators? Let's talk about different operators first. So you have greater. This is greater than sign, isn't it? Greater, less than sign, less than, equal to. Now see, when you're doing single equal to, it is like assigning. What does it mean? It means assign 32 to num2. Correct? This is what you mean. This one means, is it equal? So comparison operators is like asking a question, is it equal? Is it greater? Is it smaller? Okay. Then you have not equal to. This is it not equal to? Is 5 not equal to 5? I'm asking a question. Is 5 not equal to 5? True or false?
False.
Yes. 5 is
False.
equal to 5. 5 is equal to 5. Is 5 not equal to 5? False. 5 is not equal to 5 is false because 5 is equal to 5. Okay, so this is not equal to. Then you can have greater than equal to. You can have less than equal to. Okay, so let's talk about these numbers and let me take one more number, num3, and this I'll make it as 23. Okay, so now I'm asking you, num2, okay, greater than num3. Print num3 greater than num1. Print, okay, I'll take same stuff and I'm going to say equal to. Again, I'll take same stuff and I will say here less than. Less than equal to, less than, okay, and then we'll have equal to, not equal to. Okay, tell me, what do you think answer will be here? Is num2 greater than num3?
It's true.
True.
It's true, correct. Next one, num3 greater than num1?
It's false because they are
Yes.
equal.
Yes, they're not greater. Yes, it is false. Num3 is not greater than num1. Yes. Num2 greater than or equal to num3? So when you say or, it means it can be greater or equal. Both are valid thing. So you get
No.
num2.
False.
No,
True.
num2 is greater, right, than num3. So it is true.
Okay.
Greater or equal. So it is greater. Now this one, num3 greater than or equal to num1. They're not greater, but they're equal. So this is also true.
Like in that two conditions are there.
Yes. So two conditions means what? I'm saying or. You give me apple or orange. Okay. So if you have
Okay.
apple also, I will take it. If you have orange also, I will take it. Correct?
Hmm.
If I'm telling you, give me
Yes.
apple. If you don't have, then you can't give me. But if I give me apple or orange, or means what? Okay. Either this. If I tell you, today we will have class at 5 or 6. What does it mean? That means even if I do at 5, I meet my commitment. Even if I do at 6, I meet my commitment.
Hmm.
If I tell you I have to do class at both 5 and 6, we'll have class at 5 as well as 6. That means I have to do 2 classes to meet my commitment. Right? So that's what the difference between and that's what the next topic is. Okay, logical operator we'll talk about. Okay, so when you have and or, there's a meaning. Okay, there's a difference. Or means, okay, even if you do one thing, it is valid. If I tell you I'm going to solve one out of, yeah, in the college's exams you have, right, solve any one, right? What does that mean? If you solve any one also, you get full marks. You do more than one, it's fine, but if you do one also, you'll get full marks, isn't it? If they tell you solve both the problems, 1 and 2 both, that means if you solve one, you'll get only half mark, isn't it? Okay.
Yeah.
So, or I'm saying, is it greater than? Okay, let me write it also. Okay. Okay, here equal to will write, so it becomes better.
It's fine, I get it.
No, it's for everyone. Is num2 greater than or equal to? Is num2 greater than or equal to num3? Question mark. Okay, so answer is yes, true. Here also it is true. Here, num2 less than num3. Is num2 less than num3? No, false. What about here?
False.
Num3 greater than num1. 23 is not less than 23. Right? 23 is not. So 23 is neither greater than 23 nor less than 23. Correct? They are equal. So when it's equal, they are neither greater nor equal. Sorry, not neither greater nor less. Num2 less than num2. Num3, sorry. Is it false?
False.
Yes, everyone? Anybody? Any question?
Hmm.
Here?
True.
Correct. True. Because we are saying equal to, right? True.
Yeah.
Now, num2 equal to num3
No, false.
and num3 not equal to num1?
False.
False.
Yes, they are equal. So yeah, we are checking not equal to, so it is false. We can run it and see the output. So see here, true, false, true, true. True, false, true, true. Then we have 1, 2, 3, 3 false, 3 false, then true, false, false, true, false, false, right? So we got it right. So this is called as comparison operator. You are comparing two values. Are they equal or they are greater or smaller or greater equal to or smaller equal to or not equal to? These are your comparison operators. Okay. The next one is, it's called as logical operator. Oops, sorry. Okay. Logical operators is to check logic. Okay. And this is where you have and or not. This is how you write. Okay. And or not. All in lowercase. All in lowercase. Okay. So this is what we're talking, right? If I tell you my prediction is Sachin or Saurav will open the batting. Okay. And actually what happened is Sachin and Sehwag opened the batting. Tell me, my prediction is correct or wrong? Is it true or false?
Wrong.
Is it wrong?
Yes, because Sachin and Sehwag opened the batting, and your prediction is Sachin and Saurabh will. No, sorry. It's true because Sachin is there.
Correct. I said Sachin or
Yeah.
Saurav. I did not say
Right.
Sachin and Saurav. If I say Sachin
Yes.
and, then my prediction is wrong. I'm saying both of them will do it. So now I'm saying Sachin or Saurav. I'm just talking about one person. Okay.
Yeah.
So yes, this becomes true. Now, if I make the same prediction, okay, if this is prediction 1, and if I make second prediction, okay, that Sachin and Saurav, then it is false. Because here I'm sure about both of them. No, it's not true. I'm taking commitment only for one. Okay, I'm not taking commitment for both. So here, if both is wrong, then only I'll be false. If let's say, Dravid and Sehwag open, then only I'll be wrong. Right? So this is what we use in logical operators. So it's called as truth table. Okay, if in set theory you will come across, in digital electronics you'll come across. They're called as Boolean operator. Truth table. truth table, it works on Boolean values. That means, okay, true and true. So we'll talk about and truth table, okay? So here you get true and true. True and true will be, tell me, all the possible values, okay? There are 4 possible values. So first is true, second is true. So true, false, false, true, and false, false. These are possible values. True and true, both. I'm saying Sachin and Saurabh will open and Sachin and Saurabh opened. It is true. Okay? True and false, one wrong is false. One wrong, false. Both are false, anyway it's false. So for something to be true when you have AND operation, okay, everything has to be true, only then you will get true. Okay? Now if you do same thing for OR. Okay, and here we'll talk about OR. OR. Okay, true or true? True. True or false? True. False or true? True. Even one is true, it is the entire thing is true. That's what we saw in OR, right? So even if one value is true, entire OR will be true. Even if one value is false, entire AND will be false. And NOT is simple, okay? NOT will have just two. So see, just like plus or minus or into division, these operators, logical operators, has two values, one on the left, one on the right. But your NOT is like one. So like not true is false, right? And not false is true. Okay, we'll stop here. Okay, what I want to do is I want to try these two programs as assignment. Assignment 1, get length and breadth from the user and calculate area and perimeter. So we'll say input enter length, input enter breadth, area equal to length into breadth, right? Perimeter is 2L plus B, right? And area is length into breadth, L into B. And display proper message, okay? And so second problem assignment is again something similar. So I'll say assignment 2, get radius of a circle from the user. Circle from the user and calculate area and circumference. Circumference, right? So area is pi r square. Pi r square, right? And circumference is 2 pi r. Right? So any questions before we end the day?